Hi, boys and girls. We are continuing to talk about United States symbols. And we've talked about famous symbols such as the Liberty Bell, the Great Seal, the Bald Eagle, the White House, the Statue of Liberty, the Great Arch, the San Francisco Bridge, Mount Rushmore, different things that represent our country. Today, I'd like you to take out this passage, Grizzlies at the White House. Okay, so you're going to need this passage. There are a couple of pages attached to it. And you can pause the video at any time. Grizzlies at the White House. Thomas Jefferson was president. He was the third president. One day a crate came to the White House. The White House is where the president lives. The crate was large. It was for Jefferson. It was a gift. The gift was from Lewis and Clark. Lewis and Clark were explorers. Jefferson had told the two men to explore the West. Growls could be heard. The growls were coming from the crate. What could be making the sounds in the big box? Jefferson opened the crate. What did he find? He found bears. The bears were the ones making the growling noises. The bears were young. They were cubs. The bears were a type of bear Lewis and Clark had found in the West. They were grizzly bears. Jefferson liked his bears. He kept the grizzly cubs as pets. He had a cage built on the White House lawn. Often, Jefferson would take his cubs out of the cage. He would walk them around the White House lawn. People began to call the White House lawn the President's Bear Garden. We have a picture here. And this was a non-fiction passage, meaning it was a true story. And I know when we read Sacagawea, we also read about the explorers, Lewis and Clark. Okay. On the next page, we have a fictional story that we're going to read called What Meg Had to Do. And you can follow along as I read this. Meg said, I have to do something. I have to buy a house. I have to buy a house for Dave. Dave needs a bigger house. I have saved my money. I have saved for a long time. Now I have enough money. Today is the day. Today is the day I am buying a bigger house for Dave. Meg's friends stared at Meg in surprise. They could not believe what they had heard. Meg's friend said, Meg, you are not telling the truth. How can you buy a house? You are a little girl. Only grown-ups buy houses. Houses cost a lot of money. You could not have saved enough money to buy a house. Meg smiled at her friends. Meg said, I am telling the truth. I am buying a bigger house. The house is not for me. The house is for Dave. Dave is not a person. Dave is my pet hermit crab. Hermit crabs make their homes in empty shells. Hermit crabs need to change homes as they grow. I need to buy Dave a bigger shell. It's kind of a cute story. So let's take a look at our questions. Number 1, what is a crate? A crate. Would you say it's a cub, a box, a gift, or a cage? And I would go back to the first passage to find the word crate. And you could highlight that. Growls were coming from the crate. The crate was, that's what I highlighted. I don't know if you can see that there. I highlighted where it said that there was a crate and a big box. So I chose B, box. Number 2. Dave needed a new home because Meg had grown up. He was a pet hermit crab. He had grown too big for his old one. Meg had saved enough money for a house, to buy a house. So you want to go back to the passage, what Meg had to do. Why did Dave need a new home? And I feel like the last sentence of this passage I'm highlighting really gives me the information. He had really grown too big for his house. He was a hermit crab. Number 3. Both stories are about types of animals, types of bears, types of gifts, types of houses. What do you think? I think they're about types of animals. Number 4. One cannot tell from the stories that bears growl. Young bears are called cubs. Grizzly bears live in shells. Grizzly bears live in the West. Now, one of those does not make sense. And you can't find that information in the passage. Highlight which one that would be. I highlighted grizzly bears live in shells. Number 5. From the stories, you can tell that Jefferson had seen grizzly bears before. A shell costs less than a house for people. Meg's friends thought that Meg was a grown-up. Lewis and Clark were presidents after Jefferson. What do you think on that one? I chose B. A shell costs less than a house for people. I learned that in the second passage. I knew she wasn't a grown-up. I knew that Jefferson had not seen the bears before, and I know Lewis and Clark were not presidents. When you look at the next page, it says practice your handwriting. Pick any word that you want from the story to write on the line. So go ahead and pause the video while you pick one word. Not a sentence, just one word from the story in your best handwriting. I picked grizzly, and I filled in my best handwriting. Number 7. List in order what Jefferson does in the stories. Use the numbers 1 to 4. Put 1 by what happened first, put a 4 by what happened last. So if you need to go back and look at the story, you can use that, and you can pause the video. And I'm going to look back at my story. What happened first? What happened second? What happened third? What happened fourth? So go ahead and pause, because this might take you some time to go back in the passage, especially this last paragraph will help you with what happened in what order. So you can check your answers. First, he got the gift, he opened the crate, he built the cage, and he took them for a walk. Number 8. At first, Meg's friends did not think she was telling the truth. Choose a line from the story to write in the bubble. Choose a line that would best help Meg's friends know she was telling the truth. I am buying a house. The house is for Dave. Dave is my pet hermit crab. So choose the sentence that you think would really tell the truth that other children would understand. And again, you can pause the video while you fill that in. I chose Dave as my pet hermit crab. For number 9, write one or more sentences that tell what each story is about. So you would put Grizzlies at the White House is about, and you could fill that in. What Meg had to do is about. And think about the 2 types of pets in the stories. What type of pet is best and why do you think? So do you think it would be better to have a pet grizzly bear or a pet hermit crab? And why do you think that? Go ahead and fill that in, and you can share with someone at home or in your classroom.